So today we were reviewing the... Wait, hold on. We were reviewing the... Wait, no, still wrong gun. You know, how many high-tech rifles can this game have? This isn't even the right gun still. Here we go. So today we're reviewing the Pulse Pounder. This is an event schematic that is coming back very soon. It's a slow-firing assault rifle while zoomed in, but a fast-firing assault rifle while zoomed out. It, to my remembrance, because it's been a while, it has very high damage, and the trade-off being it fires slow, and most of your damage is coming from its big headshot multiplier. Here's the perks I'll be running for it, and let's see the build. Wowzers. A simple assault rifle build. Yeah, it's an assault rifle. You don't really need much for assault rifle builds. You could use Joan Seabot because of his boost headshot thingy, but again, I don't have him, and from my experience, headshots aren't that good. Like, headshots are great. They kill enemies super fast. It's just they're not consistent, and sometimes the enemies will actually, like, jitter around your sight and just, like, dodge, basically. It's super annoying. Not dodge like how the nurses dodge, but, like, glitch out. So, I don't really suggest doing headshot builds with assault rifles and stuff because your headshot might not be hitting the head for that shot. So, yeah. Anyways, let's get into a game and test it out. Alrighty, we are in, and we already have the gun pre-crafted. I did that yesterday. Yeah, I pre-crafted it. I was testing out. I know, it's not a blind review, but I didn't test out to its fullest. But you see, it does fairly well when you hit your headshots. But once you zoom out, it does fire a bit faster. You can have a fiery perk on this, but I don't stress it because with a fiery perk, you're not really doing that much damage. Like, you're still doing damage. It's just I think a crit rating build is a lot more preferred for assault rifles and such, since you're usually always landing a lot more hits. Now, zooming in is a lot more intended for far distances, while zooming out is intended for close-ups like this. I have a teammate shooting a Xenobo towards me. I'm not sure if that's intentional, because in Xenomos, of course, pierce through terrain and stuff. The point being, yeah. Now, if they're shielded or getting nursed, they're probably going to survive the first few bullets. Now we have our teammate coming in. Now this is abysmal now, but fine thing. Doesn't really matter. But as you can see, when you're close by, it does fairly decent. There's weapons that would do a faster job, but for an event schematic that's appearing very soon, and being a super strong assault rifle, killing enemies in 1 to 3 shots, it is somewhat good if you're trying to do just like good distance kills, but for close range, I kind of don't suggest it because, well, you know, it's not doing bad, but I've seen better, and I'm being shot. Okay, stop shooting me. That's rude. Anyways, I'm gonna pick this up real quick. Anyways, see if we can get a headshot. Okay, so they're about already dead-ish. Here we go. Here's a live one, and so I don't think that was a crit. So with about 1 headshot, you can basically kill them, and with a crit, you can insta-kill them, which is super tasty, super good. We have a totally rocking out build, so I'm going to attempt to get some sub wafers for more testing. Wish me luck, because I don't like RNG. Alrighty, we have a bit of a crowd over here, and I'm stuck on a tree. Normal Tuesday to me, even though it's Saturday. But point being, as you see, it does fairly decent. Now, I'm pretty sure if you actually zoom in, you do get more of a headshot bonus. I'm pretty sure it does increase. I didn't really check that because, well, you know, then again, to check my damage stats, I have to unzoom and open my inventory. So I can't really check that, but I might be able to look it up later. Now, as you see, it does fairly well. It is a lot more single target than multiple target. It's not like a siege breaker or a, you know, like a Terminator or the Hacksaw. Or actually, I forgot what they call it. I forgot what they call it precisely, but let's pop a wafer and see how well it does. We're just going to zoom, and yeah, you see it can clear out a crowd, but that's more when it has the rocking out. Now there is a 6 perk that lets it so every time you fire them, they slow down a bit, and if you stack it up enough, I think 10 times, I want to say. I think you stack it up 10 times. They just freeze in place, which is super tasty because frozen enemies, they can't fight and they can't move, so it's super good, you know. It's very tasty, very tasty. You know, this is some evil placement of the core right there, I gotta say. But anyways, I'll cut back if we find a smasher, blaster, taker, or just another big crowd of enemies. So yeah. Okay, I push stop recording, excuse me. Alrighty, we have another big crowd of enemies up ahead with a blaster, so let's pop a wafer. And I'm just going to do this. Now you can see if you hit the headshot and body shot, it kills. It kills. That's all I can really say is that it kills it. Like, that's fairly well. It's kind of comparable to the primal rifle where it takes, it fires slower, but it does about the same amount of work. Except this is killing them in 1 to 2 shots. It's like before where it took about 4, I want to say. But sometimes, ooh, there's a smash up head. As I was saying, like before, where it was more like, you kind of have to hit their, like, it was super situational. Also the frenzy, there's a lot of stuff. As we see, we hit that headshot, very good.
Let me smash.
And they're targeting the teammate. No, target me. Target me, I want to fight you. Come here. Come here, I want to fight you. Now it does fairly well. You can see it's taking out really big chunks. But again, I think if I was zoomed in doing headshots, it would be a lot more stronger, but then I can't really do that when they're facing away from me. But we can lay into a crowd fairly well. Fairly well. But then again, I get my butt whooped pretty fast because we crazy bananas. But when things hit you, it hurts. I'm going to run away. I'm going to run away, pop a wafer again, and just reposition myself a bit more. Now I can test it out right here on the blaster. Actually, it does fairly well. That headshot. But there is definitely better weapons you can probably use, especially if you're doing headshots. I think the triple tap would be a good example, because it can also do crowd clearing. The affliction is super good on the weapon. This gun doesn't have affliction, or nor can it get affliction. I think that's something I want to point out real quick, is that this weapon cannot have affliction. It has a lot of social 6 perks that came with its weapon, and I just restart. Oh my god. I'm just gonna gather these little supply crates right here. Not supply crates, but like lootables. So I'm gonna just gather those real quick and just dip. Because I just want, I need loot, of course. It's a looting game. The point being, tasty. Yeah. Now I'm actually going to. Actually, I'll attempt to do it again. I'll attempt to do it again. Let's pop a wafer. Now the husklings are really annoying because they really catch up really quickly. Now, again, if you're not hitting a headshot, it's of course going to do less damage. But with a crit going on, it does kill them super fast. Let's see if we can get the test out on the spitter. Yeah, or blaster. There we go. That's what I love to see. Like, look at that. That is just great. That is actually so good. Now, you might... Oh, what the... Oh, its head follows you when it's... Oh, that's so weird. Its head follows you while it's frozen. I've actually never seen that before. Actually, I'm just gonna scream out like that. Gonna do a wall like this. Just for a bit of cover. You just face to the wall. What? You can't do that. That's like cheating. Okay. Okay, Husky. You fucking suck. Huskies, am I right? Also, you might have noticed, but I made a new avatar. I made a new one. Tell me what you think about it. I tried to make it more consistent with my art style. And it's through the fucking ammo thing. No, I don't need fucking ammo. Oh my goodness. I hate this bug. This bug is so ass. Oh, you want some ammo? Here you go. Oh, you want some ammo? Here you go. No. No, I don't need ammo. And they're... Oh my god. I said in chat too. I was hoping they'd fix their mistake, but I even said in chat. Well, let me remove the creature model. As you can see, I said in chat that it does 2x damage to metal. And what do? They build it out of metal. What can I say? What can I even say? Embarrassing. 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 Honestly, I'm not... I've helped out in these case scenarios where they kind of flop out on the build. I'm not doing that. We're reviewing weapon. As you can see right here, it kills them pretty quickly. Now even one-tapping them when I'm not even zoomed in sometimes, which is super tasty. Not tasty when I'm hip firing and it's not killing anything. And there is a wolf, and I think it has a frenzy. Come here. As you see, one tapped. Two tapped, not one tapped. One tapped its beehive though. You know, instantly destroy that. Which is something that Forget can actually just directly destroy the beehives. No, lady, can you move out the fuck the way? Jesus Christ. I like taking up space. You're fucking A. Also, something interesting is that this doesn't use the actual invasion weapon model. It for some reason uses the burst model. I'll pop it on the screen, but there's like two separate models for this gun, the burst and the normal fire. And the Save the World model uses the burst fire one, which is super interesting. A little detail I know because I sometimes play creative and I not review, but I play around with weapons in creative. And it's just something I noticed. It's just something I noticed, and I want to point that out. Because I don't think any real Save the World players have ever noticed that. So yeah, just a little something to know, I guess. Let's go recycle my inventory. Let's see. Not mine, not mine, not mine, not mine. Okay, anything purple is obviously not mine. Also, these swim girls have no perks, so they're not mine. Funny, tasty. Anyways. Tasty, tasty. What do I got? Oh, back to 700. Tasty. Batteries. Okay, my pulse powder is about to break, so let's go craft a new one. Because, yeah. Let's go down to the pulse pounder. Wherever it is. I think it's past the primal weapons. Yep, there we go. There it is. Pulse pounder. Anyways, I'll cut back if we find anything interesting or the objective starts. Alrighty, the objective has started, and we have a bit of a crowd down here, so I'm gonna pop a wafer and just play away. I'm pretty sure I'm missing a big portion of my shots right now, so I think they're stumbling. Oh, they stumble first, the hitbox range. Now I am taking a fair bit of damage, not sure about the campfire. Pop a wafer, and that's... Yeah, does fairly well. Now I personally like more fast-firing weapons, and the zoomed in is meant for more far range, because I think it either increases the weapon's range when you zoom in, or increases its headshot damage. I'm gonna pop it up on screen, because either one it does, or maybe both. Flipping. It is partially a close range, medium range, and a far range weapon. But in very weird ways, because unlike a normal close, mid, and far range weapon, it's kind of like a mode where, like, oh, you're doing far range, zoom in. You're doing, I don't know if I said it right. Here, let me re-say it. If you're close range, don't zoom in. If you're mid range, don't zoom in or zoom in.
Let me smash.
Far that mid range really. Now they're also still building on a brick, even though I just not dirt but metal. Even though I told them that hey, deal X damage. But whipping. If you actually want to use it how it's intended, you have to play in a weird way. Because usually when you're using a weapon, you're usually zooming in to get that closer accuracy. Because like when you zoomed in, it gets all so nice and accurate. But like when you zoom in with this gun, it becomes painfully slow.
Let me
and
smash.
That's not really preferred, especially in a weapon. Now, of course, my teammates are still trying to build out a metal. Now, I don't think they have a brain to save their life.
Not bad.
Interesting team right here.
Add blue glow and get ready to defend the van. Flip the switch when you're ready.
Firstly, I'm just going to put wall darts here because extra damage is tasty. My teammates are AFK. This one is over here. So I don't know what they're doing some, but I have my biggest worry. Okay, I'm gonna do it like that so if they come up this way they take some direct damage. Now, okay, this is weird design in my opinion, but it can work, I guess. Anyways, I'll cut back on the next wave. Alrighty, the next wave has started, and we have some enemies from afar. She's doing very well. I haven't popped the wafer, nor do I have Toy Rocking out active, and it's still killing them in only a couple shots. Like I said, it's a super strong assault rifle. The only downside being that if you want to zoom in and be accurate from afar, you have to fire really, really slowly, which is usually not something you want to do. You want to kill the enemies fairly fast. But it does give you that trade-off of the super high damage, which can be a positive depending how you play, if you're thinking if you're super accurate. But for me, I'm not. So it isn't the most useful thing, especially if that doesn't always hit the head. It can also take a couple more shots than you want. As you can see here, from afar and not always hitting the head, it doesn't do the best. And for stuff like this, you want to zoom out obviously. It would be like this, but it makes you less accurate because you're no longer having that very smooth zoom-in speed. But then it's also it's very weird weapon, like I've said, because you could use it like this, absolutely, but it isn't preferred, especially since they're from far away. You want to be more accurate, but now you're firing super slowly, and you're not like when you're shooting at enemies, you want to kill them, of course, but also benefit of shooting into multiple enemies is that sometimes those multiple enemies will take damage from your AR, because like of course your AR, SMG, pistol, it balloons, and it will sometimes hit other enemies, and if that weapon has affliction, those enemies that got shot by the weapon will actually trickle down, lose health, take damage. But with this, of course, it has no affliction, and when you shoot multiple enemies while zoomed in, since you can't shoot multiple enemies while you're zoomed in, it doesn't really have that benefit, which is not preferred. Now, personally speaking, when I use a weapon, I don't really mind if it's a little bit on the slower side. But for this, I don't mind if it's a little on the slower side, but I like it to be consistent. But I also don't want it like infantry rifle level slowness and yelling at me. And they're using, oh boy, we got a plasmatic discharger spammer. And get the cowbell, start ringing it. So how would I really suggest using this weapon? Is kind of walking up into a crowd of enemies and use it. And if you really have good aim, you could probably zoom in and use it from a distance. But since the enemies are constantly moving, it is a little hard. And I will admit, I don't have the best aim. So, yeah. I think I will be loading into a second match to test this out a bit more thoroughly. The point being, at the current moment, I really don't suggest it unless you're super accurate. Especially since the enemies will sometimes jolt around your what do you call it? The little dot here. I forget what you call it. The marker? Hit marker, I guess? I don't know. The point being, they'll sometimes actually glitch around that. I've seen it on like Reddit and Twitter, where it just glitch out and lag out a bit when you're zoomed in on them, which makes it pretty difficult. But sometimes you are lucky and you'll hit those good headshots and kill an enemy about 3 to 2 hits, maybe 1 with a crit. The point being, it's a decent gun, but at the given moment, I don't see much viability in it in the actual use case of distance. Up close, it is great. It will shred your enemies, but at distance so far, I'm just not seeing it. So I'm going to load into another mission, and we're going to test it out more at a distance than running up into the enemies and clearing it out that way. Alrighty, we're in another game, and we have a handful of enemies from a distance. Let's see how well it does. Okay, it seems a bit the same from a bit of a distance. Now, this does have a limit of where it can go. It's not like a sniper rifle where it has a super long distance, but it does eventually stop hitting its enemies. I'm not sure from what range. The point being is, as you can see, it is a little hard to hit their shots from a distance, kind of like this, because they're moving and then you fire slowly. So unless you are very good at aiming, it is kind of hard to recommend. But let's just tap you a bit, tap him a bit. Now, as weird as it sounds, it's a lot more usable at a distance than, like, at a distance, it's useful and it's usable, but it's a bit more useful at close range due to the fact that at close range you can kind of just lay into enemies without much issue. Now, I see it did kill a mist monster in about one magazine, but I have of course seen quicker weapons. And a lot more efficient weapons too. Let's go behind the waterfall where a Ned is being attacked by a mist monster, lay into it. This is a very weird texture, this is a crack right there. But as he does very well. But it has that issue of, you know, not being the most useful weapon because it's not a high fire rate, nor is it a consistent fire rate. Because of course, usually when you're trying to kill a group of enemies, you're usually zooming into them to kill them. You're not hip firing to kill them. So yeah, I'm just gonna gather more stuff around here for talking to Ned.
Thank you.
Make sure to help out your local Neds. They need their medkits, and it's actually really close by.
It's somewhere nearby.
Check
Yeah,
your map
where
for the
nearby?
location of the med
Right corner. I think this is the first time it was actually just somewhere nearby, so like across the map. I think that's a little impressive. Oh no, they come before. Get back here. Come back to life. I didn't give her permission to die on me. Get back up. Anyways, let's see if we can find this medkit. I was gonna cut off, but I want to find the medkit. Yeah. Then you just run back and save him. It's a super easy survivor. I see a lot of people skip out on him, and you don't have to, of course, because it's a super easy survivor. And if you're skipping out on a super easy survivor, you have to be the laziest person in the world. Alrighty, the objective has started, so let's see. From a distance, if I can actually hit my headshots, which I do struggle at, it does not the best actually. It's not as comparable to when you're just up close, non-zoomed in, which is a bit problematic because, well, yeah. So I don't like it when the viability of a weapon is tied to a certain usage, where, you know, you have to be zoomed in while using it, or you have to like be crouched. Like theoretically, like say you have to be crouched to be using it properly. Like the gun can't shoot unless you're crouching. Like let's say something like that theoretically existed. Like, you know, that wouldn't be something you'd obviously want to use. So anything that's like tied to like how you're meant to play, I guess you could say. Like, let's say what's a gun that has like a weird use case scenario? Okay, actually no. The 6 perks. That 6 perks where like standing in place gives you more damage. Like, you know, usually when you're playing Save the World, you're not really ever sitting in one place. You're constantly moving around, avoiding enemies. So yeah, what are you fucking doing? Want me to revive you or not? I don't know. Now, as you see, against the Smasher, it really chunked out its health, and with Flood rocking out, it just chunks them out. Now, I just had a lag spike right there, so if it was doing no damage, that's why I just had some crazy ass lag. It seems like something always goes wrong in my videos, either it be lag or, you know, terrible teammates. But as you can see, it does fairly decent. Now, it's kind of hard to say if it's good or not, because you have to take into consideration the fact that if you're actually using it, you're probably not zooming in, and then the little bonus of the gun, you know, the zoom in makes it super accurate and gives you that bonus. It's now gone. It's more useful without that bonus it provides by zooming in, and it's really sucks, especially if the weapon is themed around that said gimmick. So yeah, and it was all cut back if we get a mini boss. Alright, this isn't a mini boss, but we have a Smasher.
Let me
Can't use the
smash.
tires by the sea without a wafer. Yeah, he did just freeze it. But as you see, it does fairly well against Smashers. So if you're just looking for a strong AR that can probably kill Smashers fairly easy and miss monsters and such, this could work for you. But that would be more of a secondary use case, while assault rifles are intended for a primary use, that would be a secondary use. Maybe in a shotgun build, it can be AR can be a secondary, because you know having a good range is fairly good. Like, actually, then you can probably just also use a pistol. Like, it's super hard to recommend a weapon like this because its use case is weird, its functionality is weird, its damage amazing, but between everything else, it's just super hard to recommend, and it really does pain me because you know I want you guys to have like a good time using a weapon, and if it's a weird case scenario where you have to use it in a very weird way, it just does make it harder for a person to really enjoy the said weapon, which is why, of course, I'm struggling to explain it somewhat. But we have a mini boss now. It is right, not there. Where is the mini boss? Vampiric, shielded. Okay, there we go. So okay, it's shielded, but I'm gonna say screw it and see how well we can do without. Now they're spamming a Plastron. Now we got a repeat teammate, the MPT guy. He's a repeat teammate, and as you see, he's just spamming a freaking Plasmatron, or what I call it, Plasmatic Discharger, which has been, you know, fixed. It no longer does its double damage to mini bosses and mist monsters. And for a shielded enemy, you want to use a melee. I think that goes without saying. I don't have my sword, so I use Ren this day, but I think it'll work. It'll work. Anyways, I'll cut back if we find. Actually, you know what? You know what? Nah, I'm not gonna cut back. And all that loot just despawned. May I point out? All that loot just despawned. This loot update is actually low-key garbage, because the loot is there for like a couple seconds, then it instantly despawns, which then destroys the reason to have a loot update if the loot now despawns. So like, yeah. We added we changed how looting works, and we made it so the loot that you're gathering despawns right in front of you. It is so useless. It is such a useless change. But I'm gonna grab these real quick. Honestly, I'm looking for mist monsters because I think mist monsters are a good staple of showcasing a weapon's performance. But I haven't seen any in my little section I've been looking at. There might be some over here. Now we have a bit of a crowd, so I have a couple of here. Let's see what we can do. Here we go, Miss Monster, and it's already dead. It's mostly dead from the crowds. No, proper use of broadside. You know, very tasty, very tasty. We got a taker right here. Let's see if we can just focus on that. Fairly well, fairly well. I think they can actually fly above the broadsides, so I don't think they're actually that affected by them. And I just got killed by a normal husk. But, yeah, I don't talk about it. You didn't see anything. Now, can my teammates come revive me? Or am I just going to be the one to revive them? No? No?
Let me smash.
Damn, alright. Let me respawn. Now we got a smasher right in front of us as we spawn in. Let's see how we can manage it. Now, I see it is chunking fairly well. Bad. Didn't mean to put out of wood. I know. Terrible miss. But
let me smash.
It does fairly well. Now, if you're looking to kill a mist monster fast, of course, you want to have a damage boost like Blow Rocking Out or Blast of the Past, since that also gives you a damage boost, I bet. Now I'm about to pick up that quartz. I know today's footage has been a little bit, like, somewhat deceiving, but somewhat over-glorifying the weapon. But let's go back to lobby and give the final statement. Let's give the final statement. Yeah, stuttering. Don't you love it? So, would I suggest the Pulse Pounder as a primary weapon or possibly a secondary? Kinda, yeah, somewhat. It can work. Personally speaking, it doesn't work for me due to how I play, but if you're very accurate and you can actually manage that zoom-in bonus fairly well, it will work great for you. But personally speaking, for me, it just doesn't. But it's a strong weapon, and if you're just looking for a weapon that you can pull out that isn't obviously the mythics, and looking for somebody that can kill a mist monster, smasher, whatever you want to call them, or whatever you need for, it will work. And I think that's very important about the weapon. Especially since it's returning super soon, I really do suggest getting it because it is a fairly good one. And, don't want to miss out on the good stuff. Because sometimes they do change weapons, and sometimes they buff them, sometimes they don't. And sometimes they will fix a bug that's been in the game for multiple years and piss off a big portion of the player base. Anyways, I'll see you all next time, and I hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.